So, you clicked on this video because Pit of Hersey is a thing and you are looking to do it easy. So, what I would recommend is if you had a hunter, to put that hunter on. It doesn't really matter about the stats, really. It's more that you need 6 coyote and this setup that I'll be showing you very soon. But if you have a setup but you want to know like some tips and tricks with certain encounters and how to do the cheese, etc., I've put some chapters in and some timestamps in the description down below. So feel free to either skip this intro part out or even just watch it as a video. I'm making this video because of Hive Barrier is going away. Well, not going away per se. The mods themselves are OP, yes, but they're getting nerfed. They're gonna get nerfed as in they won't be used everywhere. They'll only be used in raids. So the Hive ones will be for crown related, pretty much. But I know that crown's going away, so I don't know what they're gonna do with the mod. Same with the Taken mods. They will be made so you can only use them in Last Wish. So I'll be trying to make a guide for Prophecy after this one. So, going to look at the subclass. We have Vortex Nade, Gambler's Dodge, Triple Jump, and Way of the Pathfinder. You want to have the Vanishing Smoke, Mobius Quiver tree, bottom tree. Then we have the Wither Horde, when my game loads, with the Catalyst, so you have auto-loading. Then we have Gnawing Hunger with Demolitionist and Minor Spec. Then Bad Omens with auto-loading, Cluster Bomb, and Boss Spec. Looking at my helmet, I've got Grenade Launcher Ammo Finders with Mobility Spec. Then we've got a large weapon loader, auto-loader, and another mobility. But it's all like for grenade launchers and the setup that I currently have. And there's the Hive Barrier on the boots, just to demonstrate how good that is. And looking at the cape, we have the Oppressive Darkness and Distribution, which reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near enemies. And we'll be doing that a lot with the Invis, Dodge, and Smoke. So yeah, very, very handy indeed. Anyway, this is a flawless solo, but you can use it for a solo guide as well. So loading into the good old pit. The standard, you want to make your way to the green bit of the room. And you just stand by the nearest chain to the left, and if you just stand where I've stood, you don't really need to move. Just fall straight down. In this section, you can summon your Sparrow, but I would not advise it, just because there is a loading screen that can consider you as dead when you're riding the Sparrow. It's a known bug. So, looking at the Necropolis chapter, this is where we put the raid banner down. I'm gonna show you an aerial like footage of all the surrounding area, just so you have a feel of where to go and stuff. But typically we go to the right a little bit, and then we will jump down to the first symbol, which looks like A. So we'll go down there. We need to kill a pit keeper, which will be an orange bar knight that will open the gate, which is right there. And if you're wondering how to use the smoke stuff, you gotta dodge near enemies to get your smoke and then go invis. And then you can go, whilst invisible, dodge near another enemy and get your smoke back. So you constantly have that invisibility or survivability. So after you killed your orange bar, you'll notice that we have the sword bearer chilling in the back. When we've killed him, they will spawn elsewhere or on the bridges where all the ogres spawn, etc. When you've dropped the knight, there will be 2 cursed thralls spawn in the doorway, and they'll slowly walk towards the entrance. They can always catch you off guard, but surely you can hear them as well. So, looking at the runes, we have Circle, X, and Scorpion. Whatever the first symbol, it could be randomized depending on the person, so there'll be all question marks for the guide. The topmost rune will always be a knight with a sword and shield. You'll want to use your light attacks with the sword, so depending on your controller scheme, I don't know what your melee is, but it'll be that button. But for the default control scheme, it will be primarily right bumper or R1. So for the middle one, it will always be a Shrieker. And the Shrieker, again, with the Hive Knight sword, you'll have to use the deflect button. And for the deflect button, for the default is left trigger and L2. And then lastly, for the last one, the bottom one, will be the wizard. It's always the wizard at the bottom. So you can either plan out your trip accordingly to get to all of these, or you can just go for the closest one. The closest one being from where you are at is X, because it's right underneath you. Well, I have Circle, and the 2 bridges that are quite close together to this point, because the bridges are so short, the ogres tend to be at the actual area you need to go to. So I always deem it as the hardest one to like get open. But once you've knocked out both the ogres and then you've killed the pit keeper, you have free reign to knight inside. And yeah, you just stand on any bridge that an ogre has been on, and then the sword bearer will come out, and then you grab the sword and go to the symbol. With the knight bit, you can, if you're ever familiar with Call of Duty and you played zombies, you can kite all of the thrall behind you, then turn around and do 1 RT attack and kill all of them. So they're no longer in your way. You can equally throw a nade and then stay in it and then do your attacks. Also, if you don't want to get killed by this knight here, you want to stab him twice with your R1 or RB attacks. Then you want to guard with your left trigger or L2. So stab, stab, guard, stab, stab, guard. When he breaks his shield, however, you have reign to do 3 or 4 attacks as well, because he's stunned. Same with the super. And yeah, every time you break, if you kill one of the guys, the according rune will break. So I did the first one first, which is the top one, and that was the knight. Now I'm running to X, and I shall see you there. To get around this area, if you're not familiar with how to do it, you can go on the elevators that are dotted around the fortress areas. If there is not an elevator, it just means you're going out of bounds, or it's actually the top of the map. So anywhere in the center of the area, on the bottom or ground floors, there'll be lots of elevators dotted around. And you'll know when it's an elevator when they have those good old, like, hive rocks in the center and then glowing green, I call it like rune, like effigy things. But yeah, if I go to the side here, there's an ogre there, and when I go down to see the ogre, the sword bearer should spawn, and then that's how I get the sword. With the sword as well, you can sword fly with it. So being in the air and then tapping your R1 button or RB button, you can fly to your heart's content. With the Shrieker, we just need to aim. You can kill the ogres, you're not timed in any of these bits. You just need to point your cursor over the Shrieker. The Ogre's Eye Blast does not contribute to the damage, so you just have to keep on trucking. Make sure the Shrieker's shooting at you, which it should be, because there's no one else there. This is literally the definition of sword flying with the Hive Sword. You just tap RB. Even if you're falling to your death and you run out of jumps, you can just hit RB or R1 once, and then it'll cancel out the fall damage. So using another handy lift, we make it to the wizard. Just need to kill the good old pit keepers and stuff around it, because the wizard is so annoying to kill anyway. I'd recommend killing the 2 wizards that are in there, just so you don't get pincered or whatever. So with the auto-loading Witherhoard and the auto-loading rocket, you can shoot both of them, and whilst they're reloading, shoot with your auto rifle to kill them both. Some people have recommended using a sword here, but if you're doing flawless and you don't really know where the ogres spawn, or you don't know where certain aspects of like where the sword bearers spawn, or if you're using swords to kill the wizards, it's pretty risky, because if you're using the sword, yeah, your light attack is replaced by the smoke that you're using to go invisible to keep that survivability. So if you have the Witherhoard and the rocket though, you can still go invisible whilst you're shooting them, and then, yeah, reapply it if things get a bit too hectic. With the buff for defensive position is the hive barrier as well. So every time a hive hits you, it'll replenish the timer. So with the sword now, we can go into the area after killing both of the wizards. We can either curve the projectiles around pillars, or if the wizard flies to us and then uses its ability, we can guard with it. Guarding does take durability off the sword, but if you don't do anything with the sword, it doesn't take durability off it. You can jump and use your right trigger R2 attacks as well. After you've done all that, you can look for the green line that should be in the center bottom of the entire map. And then when you get there, all you need to do is kill the pit keeper, and then you are through. It'll eventually say the way is open, and then you can go through. They will despawn as well eventually. You don't really have to emote like I did. Literally, this next bit is pretty normal. You just look at the doors, you look bottom right, there's a green line that's like pulsating almost, and you run towards it, and then you go through. And then it's just like a little cave crawl, and I'll see you in the ogre bit. So, the pit. So, when you've jumped down the hole that should be shaped like this, into this area, you'll run straight right down the tunnel area. There'll be a like hive wall, you'll break through that, and then you will kill the adds that are in here with a hive knight, and then you'll kill all those, you'll get the ball, then you'll be able to run back through this corridor down this area, and then it's the first one on your left again. It'll be gated, you'll break through, then you will run down the first right, then the first set of thrall will spawn behind you as well, but the ones ahead of you can change weapon around this area here, and when you're invisible you can run straight to the dunking area. When you've dunked, you can either do the dupe or you can just throw it in straight away. So doing the ball dupe is like you change weapon whilst you hold X, turn around, and it's the first gated corridor on your now right because you've turned around. When you go through there, there'll be a bunch of ads in this area as well, with a Hive Knight in there as well. He typically is either underneath or on top of the structure. So you'll drop all the ads in there, and then you'll kill the knight and you'll get a ball. So there'll be another gate here, and the ogre loves to stand here. When you can bait him, you destroy the barrier, so you can drop your ball and destroy the barrier. Then you can, if he's still persistent and stays there, you can throw a smoke down, and when you're in vis, you can run past him and dunk the ball. Then when you've dunked the ball or duped it again, you've done that one, you'll turn around again, the first one on your right again, similar to the last one, and then you'll shoot that gate. You'll come through, and in this area there is another knight with a bunch of acolytes and thrall, just similar to the other circles that we went through. Then when you've got your ball in this gate area, the ogre sometimes is like here, or is here, if he's even here sometimes. You can just throw your smoke down again, got your ball, and then you run around the corner through this little S junction here to your last ball thing. And then when you've dunked all 3 balls, when you've deactivated these green gates, you want to hug this wall and then get to the rally banner. Should be there where the little area is. But knowing the dupe now from that practice run, we're on the totem bit. And the totem bit is okay with the dupe. It's a bit difficult doing it legit, but once you've got a strat, it's fine. You'll want to jump onto... You want to kill some of these ads. Yeah, kill them with non-conga or whatever you have auto rifle wise. Then you'll just want to stay on the plate, and the first knight should spawn on the left. As you can see, it's spawned right there. This first run of mine wasn't like fluent. I didn't do the dupe too good because I was too eager to do it. So I'm just showing you that I, like, with all my fuck ups within this point, it's okay as long as you stay in vis and you can run maps around the circle to bait all the thralls and then dunk whenever you've got a dodge or a smoke back. But if you're really good with the dupe, you could just time it perfectly, keep slamming, and then you're done. But the totem does wipe you after a certain amount of time as well. I have a video showing that. And also the runes in the back show how many slams you need. So all in all, you need roughly 6 slams to finish that bit. And you dropping the ball stays there for a while, so you don't really need to worry about the ball disappearing. Using Wither Horde as well, every time you dodge to get another smoke back, you can just throw it as if it was like a rift or something, so it's like your little safeguard. So it doesn't kill you over time, it kills everything else over time. I like doing it legit more than doing the cheese, but I want to help you guys do your first completion in this, or even get the solo flawless emblem. Don't use Wither Horde on any of the things you need to shoot, because it doesn't work. This bit was a bit tricky for me for flawless, but you don't have to drop all the way down straight away. There are ledges on every single like circle bit. Even if there's nothing to kill you on one bit, you can still find a ledge and jump down it. So you just gotta time your jump, or your drop even. with the rotation of the pillars. The pillars can insta-kill you if you hit a spike, but there are parts of the pillar that don't kill you, but it's very hard to find those when it's a moving object. But this is this part. I couldn't really make a map of this one because it's so confusing to me. I've pulled this off Reddit. I have the links here in the description if you want to see that for yourself. And yeah, for this, this next part, I prefer using a sword as well. Don't know why I dropped Anarchy. I was like, maybe I should use this. Nope, we're not doing Prophecy. Not today. Not Anarchy today. But it's easy to get the sword, Gnawing Hunger, and Wither Horde from this season pass. Because I used the same sword that you get off the season pass. You get Wither Horde from the first bit of the season pass. And Gnawing Hunger is literally in any umbral ever. Like, if you've done a lot of umbrals, you should have had at least one Gnawing Hunger. And you can focus it to have specific, like, drop rates and stuff. But Demolitionist is good to get energy on your nade, so you can chain that with your other abilities to get other cooldowns. This is like a good old route to go. If you can't see the ledge as well, I'd highly recommend shooting at the floor with Wither Horde, because it actually shows it. It's a bit tricky on this part as well. If you do use your sword, if the wizard flies off, try not to use your heavy attack, because you can lunge forward at it, and because the wizard is hovering, you could hover over a chasm and then you could just fall to your death. But this is your way to Pizza, which is the symbol. Like a bunch of 4 acolytes here with their good old snipers. And then from Pizza, you curve around the area to the acolytes here. You run along this bridge, and then X should be in the corner over there. Also, the acolytes, when they shoot at you, if you hear them shoot, you can crouch, because they aim for your head. Why they hurt so much. So if you crouch just at the right time, he will shoot above you, and then you just like, oh, well, you missed, but am I gonna miss? And also, when you do go invis, the wizard or whatever was shooting at you before will shoot at where they last saw you. So if you don't move and you're still invis, they're technically still shooting where you were. Also, if you blind a wizard whilst it's hovering above like a death chasm or whatever, and you blind them, they can just like fall to their death. So moving down this corridor, you are on the last bit. Cradle of Damnation. So I will change my sword to Bad Omens again. And then where you see the 3 fortress looking things, the most left one is the knight with the sword and shield. Then you have the Shrieker in the back middle, and then you have the wizard in the right hand side. You will be able to drop a good old raid banner. And then let's get started on this bit. Well, the big sword bearer, or the Crota lookalike, but is very orange, or his cousin or whatever. You want to kill a couple of ads when you first start out, because there'll be a bunch of acolytes when you start. So killing them whilst you're doing... So if you don't kill them, you have... Whilst you're in DPS, you'll have a load of acolytes shoot at you or throw, like, scratch you. So if you want to make it easier for yourself, I'd highly recommend killing the acolytes that did spawn. the acolytes that are near the bosses don't really wander too far from the area, but after you're happy with all the acolytes that you have killed, you will kill a sword bearer, and then you will make your way to the Shrieker one. When we get to the Shrieker one, we will hold left trigger or L2 and look at the Shrieker, and then it'll kill itself, and then it drop a ball. To get in the ball, you can just kill the acolytes because they're a nuisance when it comes to this part. And then you will go and dunk your ball in the points. Don't try not to put your ball into the point where the boss is, because typically he can slam you off. Also, dunking the ball where the plates are will, yeah, as you can see, it was like shining fire, green fire. They can spawn 5 thrall in those areas, so killing the thralls is probably a bonus, but you don't really need to because they're quite easy to dodge anyway. So dunking the last ball, he will throw fire at you, so you need to get away from that area as soon as possible. And then you want to do as much DPS as you can. If you use your super in such a way, as you can see, you're doing 42k per tether. So the more you can do, the better. And if you dunk a Witherhoard on him and like in him, it will do additional damage with the tether debuffs as well. So using your nades as well is beneficial. And then with your auto-loading DPSs, you don't really need to worry about reloading with no like reload dodge. And then when he dunks the sword, you have to get out there, not as soon as possible, but he has quite a long time to charge, so you can maybe dunk one rocket in and then leave him. So when you're outside, he's in glitched phase, so he'll spawn some thrall in the pillars. He'll continuously throw fire at you, and he'll be glitched out to the point where he thinks he's still in DPS phase. So my recommendation is you run laps of the circle. So you're not staying in one place so the boss can shoot at you or throw fire at you, and you're not getting swarmed by curse throw. But you're doing laps around the circle so you can see when they spawn and where they are, and then you can kill them. It's just an easier way of doing it because you have nowhere else to properly hide, because the bosses are still there, the wizard's still there, the Shrieker will be there, and the knight will be there. So being away from there is beneficial. When he slams down as well, you can do a little bit of DPS as well, but just be safe. I would probably recommend just staying out. Now that you're on the second DPS phase, there will be 5 thralls spawned again. You don't really need to worry about them per se, because you can change weapon, use your Witherhoard, and dunk the ball. You just want to kill the Shrieker again. Kill those acolytes, because they're a pain in the ass sometimes. And then you'll grab your ball and do it again. So you'll dupe the ball, you'll kill some thrall just to be safe, and then you'll go into DPS phase. And when DPS phase is done, you can run laps again. There are unlimited goes of this as well, so you can dupe the balls continuously, like, so you could do it in 4 phases, 5 phases, 6 phases. Typically, with this setup, I do it in 3 phases. It's all about keeping calm, because some people don't like doing solo activities. Using your tether if you can. You can even use it on cursed thralls, because yeah, I know it's a waste of DPS, but if they're running towards you, you'd rather survive than do DPS, because you have unlimited chances of DPS as long as you don't like die, of course. If you die, you just start the where the raid banner was, and then you'll just do a solo run. But yeah, run laps, kill them as they spawn with a horde. They can jump down, kill themselves in the pool that you just created, and then just survive and run around circle. Then when you're happy with the ads that are dead, you kill a sword bearer, grab a sword, make your way to the Shrieker, do your little business with the deflecty bit, and then you'll go and get your ball and do the dupe again. You'll kill a bunch of thrall that are there if you need to. If you're worried about them swamping you, you can kill them by changing weapon. And then you do DPS again. You keep doing that, rinse and repeat over and over until he's dead. And when he does die, after you've done your laps and your DPS over and over, you've done it. It's the easiest dungeon to do at the moment because there is a dupe. There is also the hive barrier that I used. You don't really need to use it as well. It's quite an easy dungeon. It's quite short as well, just because of the dupe. And I hope you guys did enjoy this guide. I want to make more guides in the future. Hope you got what you were looking for, maybe the Triumph for Harbinger or even the good old emblem. But look forward to maybe for the Flawless Prophecy run. Hope you guys did enjoy this guide. Smash that like if it did help. And I'll see you in the next videos. Bye bye.